What did you see out there?
Not a tornado. Something else.
We are talking We Need to Do Something. This one is directed by Sean King O'Grady, and it's one of those films which is all set in one location with a small cast. Now, I have to say before I get into the synopsis, without any kind of spoilers here, this is going to be one of those films where people, I have no doubt, will be searching ending explained for We Need to Do Something, because it's one of those films which is very ambiguous in regards to what it's all about. And I'm here to tell you, the hell if I know, because this is a film where I would honestly say I actually don't really know what this film was about. I will do my best to explain the synopsis here, but this film is deliberately trying to be particularly kind of vague, and whether you like that sort of thing or not, it's going to be a matter of your own opinion. So let's give you the synopsis. So there is a huge storm, and it focuses on this family of four: the mother, the father, teenage daughter, and the young son. And they are taking shelter in the bathroom of their house. And the house seemingly is partially destroyed, and there is a tree blocking the only door out of this kind of this bathroom. So they are trapped in there, and they seemingly are in there for an extended period of time, having to deal with going stir crazy, running out of food, and maybe a supernatural element as well. So we have a few flashbacks within the kind of the movie, which kind of is really the only scenes outside of this kind of room. But it really all takes place in this kind of one location, with primarily the four actors playing the family, one other character in the flashbacks. What'll happen? Well, who knows? You have to watch the movie and make your own mind up. Let me put it like that. What do I think works in this film, first of all? Okay, I have to say, despite the vague storyline, which we'll come on to, I do think this movie is very well shot. It is a very tense film in a lot of ways, despite not really knowing what is going on. The movie is deliberately trying to keep us as the audience in the dark, and I'm guessing it's trying to go for the kind of a fear of the unknown. We really don't know what's going on as to the characters within the movie, but there is something strange going on, something that isn't quite right here. Why has no one come to rescue them? What are these weird things that seem to be going on outside, you know, of the kind of the area that they're in, among other things? The performances, I have to say, are very good from all of the cast here. I think do an excellent job of really kind of giving you a range of emotions through the movie. Because there are, you know, we have people kind of comedy moments where people kind of are joking and things like this, but there's also, we go into a lot darker where people are starting to kind of lose grip of reality and being able to crack with, you know, having been stuck in a room with, you know, three other people for an extended period of time. And then we have like hunger and things like that, and obviously medical situations to deal with. So the actors do a fantastic job of really portraying all of them in this movie. I think that all of the acting here is to a very kind of high standard. And this movie is surprisingly gory and brutal at times. You would think a kind of really a psychological horror film, you know, dealing with these kind of issues may not be gory, but there are some scenes here that I think are very, very kind of well shot and come across as particularly kind of brutal and bloody at times, and, you know, and violent. But also, even after the violence, it's kind of having to deal with the aftermath of it, which I feel a lot of movies don't do. You know, it's kind of you know, what are you going to do if you can't get out of the room, there's a corpse in the room, things like this. So, you know, it's an interesting film. I think explores psychological fears and the kind of the effect of paranoia and kind of like cabin fever and kind of stuff like that. And it's well shot. I think it's, you know, it looks crisp, clean, professional, well acted, well produced. But here's the rub. What doesn't work? Before I get into the big thing, let me just kind of table off a couple of other things. I have to say, out of our four characters, the mother I feel is shortchanged here. because I think we get a good representation of even the other characters. You know, the daughter and the father especially, but even to a degree the young son, who, you know, is quite young. But the mother, I feel, gets a little shortchanged here. So I really don't feel we know much about her, and that of all the characters, she was the one where I really didn't get the sense of, you know, about her person. I didn't really feel I got to know her. We do get a little bit of kind of plot development in regards to maybe what she's been up to, and you know, in regards to maybe her relationship with her husband and other things. But I still feel her kind of character was shortchanged compared to the other three. Certainly the kind of the other two in regards to the father and daughter. I've got to say as well, I think the flashbacks didn't do much to kind of move the plot forward. Again, they're fairly vague, and I don't know if they really helped all of that much. You know, they were kind of going to give us a little bit of backstory about maybe what's happened, maybe the kind of the cause of the situation, but I don't know if they really worked particularly well. I don't think they certainly weren't filmed as well as the kind of the sequences within the kind of the room itself. But here's really the kind of the major issue I have with this film is it is so vague. It gives us kind of like possibilities about what may have gone on and suggests things may have happened and stuff. But it's a serious case of blue balls, this movie, because it never really fully kind of explains or never really completely shows you what's kind of going on here. Now, that's obviously a conscious decision by the filmmakers here to do that, but as a cinematic experience, I'm not saying you have to have everything kind of tied off in a little bow, but to me it didn't go far enough, I don't think, in having a completely kind of cohesive plot with a true kind of beginning, middle and end. It didn't feel like it completely kind of worked in that regard. I have to say as well, there are times the movie just gets a little bit dull, because ultimately you are spending the whole movie, with the exception of a couple of flashbacks, in one room with the same characters, essentially kind of arguing for the majority of the film. It gets a little bit old, and I'm assuming this is why they've had the flashbacks, to try and break that up, and it does to a degree, but although I don't think the flashbacks are all that good, but it still is a little bit, you know, you kind of want plot progression, to be honest with you. And the movie's so concerned with being mysterious and kind of trying to kind of subvert your expectations and things like that, it ultimately becomes somewhat of an unsatisfying movie at the end of the day. So on a technical level, I do feel this movie is very proficient and it's very artistic in a lot of ways, but I think the story is ultimately unsatisfying. But I will give it an above average mark, because I do feel the craft here is very strong and the acting is very strong. But I don't think the story is going to be of interest to many people, if I'm honest. But I will give it an above average mark of a 6 out of 10, because I do feel there is enough here to kind of warrant that at least. So it is a 6 out of 10 for me. Have you seen it? What did you think of it? Leave me a comment and I shall look forward to seeing you next time. Bye for now.